of any place in the country. We made the largest investments in our public schools, and we are now at a 30-year low of driving down violent crime across our state. So you get a tax credit, your kids can go to school in a good school with teachers being paid a fair wage and eat a fair meal. You can get health care coverage. If you get sick, you get paid family and medical leave. Your kids don't get shot dead in the classrooms, and as they shouldn't. And all of those things happened because we went from being in the minority to being in the majority by one vote. And we had a governor who was willing to sign those things into law, and guess what happened? People saw their lives improve, more money in their pocket, the middle class being in charge, and labor unions expanded. Those were things that the working class cared about. And guess what? If you do those things, they'll vote for you the next time. They will come back and do the work. So every day, we're proving what's possible is instead of Trump's cruelty and corruption, we focus on courage and competency. Have the courage to vote for those things. Have the courage to stand up and do what's right. Have the courage to not worry about if you get reelected as long as it improves someone's life, and get the things done. Embrace the big things, sweat the little things. And we're not afraid. I'm not afraid to reach across and work with Republicans. But I'm also not afraid to stand up and say there's no way in hell that we are compromising on basic human rights and basic personal freedoms. So now, we're one of the friendliest states to start a business in. So Democrats, get this. You can stand up for working people. You can stand up for labor unions. You can stand up for fair wage. You can stand up for the idea that health care is a human right. But you can also be, because all of those things make businesses healthier, make the economy healthier, make businesses grow. We're the party of business. We're the party of the economy. We're the party that grows personal wealth. And I'll tell you what, we're also one of the freest states in the country where you make your decisions. We trust you. We're no damn nanny state that tells you what to read and who you sleep with and whatever else you do. Those are your decisions. Those are your decisions. And in the surveys that come out, there's two that I'm really proud of. We were recently ranked the best place to have a child in the country, from health care to the things that we have. And I'll tell you what, this one, we dropped to second in this category, and we got a little more work to do, but I think this matters. When they rate all the 50 states, Minnesota ranks second in happiness. We are the second happiest state. And it's cold as hell, too, and we're still happy. No such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. The reason I'll settle for second is Hawaii's first, so they're happy as heck. Look, I left a public school classroom at age 41 to run for public office for that very simple reason all of you are here, to fight for working families just like my own. Now, there's those that doubted us, but I'll tell you what. I ran in a district, by the way, I didn't know this, I'm glad I didn't know it. There had only been one other Democrat since 1892 in that congressional district. I know, and you know how it goes. You see this, oh, we can't put money in South Carolina, that's a red state. And I said last night, and I'll say it today, it doesn't look very red to me. It looks pretty blue. Looks pretty blue. Said we couldn't win because we didn't have any experience. You're going to watch candidates come up here and say, I don't know, but I'm running for office. And they'll tell you their name and they're going to do it. Support them. Help them out. What are we going to do? You ever see these races where we don't even run anybody? Look, we got them in Minnesota, trust me. We got these people who I don't know how they get elected, but I don't know South Carolina. This Nancy Mace thing is really something to me. I'm saying it. But just think about it. In 500 days, we work hard, we get somebody up here. She's got to answer for the damage she's done to people. And then you won't see her on TV anymore again, and you'll see someone else. And to the teachers out here, I'm going to encourage you this. You have to listen to people tell you that, you know, oh, I don't know, you're overpaid, you only work 9 months out of the year. You know this, right? One of the reasons I ran for office too was I was sick and tired of people beating up on public servants, like our police and like our firefighters and like our teachers and like our nurses. Look, none of us expected to get rich doing those jobs, but we didn't take a damn oath of poverty to do it. So you pay them. You pay them. And guess what happens when you do that? You get really good people who can afford to buy a house and raise their family, and they serve the rest of us. And the thing is for all of you out there, and I'm speaking to you public school teachers, this is one thing I learned when they told us we weren't going to do this. Just don't ever underestimate a public school teacher. They're pretty damn tough. They're a pretty damn tough group of folks. So look, it's a bit old school in this, and I'm doing some soul searching, and I was the guy who was there during this last one, but I'm convinced there's an appetite out there for this style of governing, this idea of competency, this idea of compassion, this idea of being able to get things done. When you poll people, they love our policies, but they can't love those policies if we don't enact them. And if we don't elect Democrats, we don't get a chance to do it. So this is not a chicken and the egg type of thing. You need to elect people who are in it for the right reasons, who want to improve people's lives, who are willing to do the work, and build the coalition behind them with a strong party unit, strong county units, strong Democratic infrastructure to get those folks word. And look, the thing we have to do is we have to get past this thing. That I saw recently that apparently the Democrats got together and hired a bunch of people, and they went with the hotel to discuss how we could best message to people, how we could come up with calibrate our words that we're using. That's how we got into this damn mess. Because we're really cautious. And look, I know all of you in here. We say stuff like, oh, you know, we have, because we believe it. And we're kind people and compassionate. We have to fight food insecurity. You're right. But just say we have to fight kids going hungry in the richest country in the world. Just tell people where they're at. And don't be afraid and stay away from the poll-tested things that are out there, because what Republicans understood is they identified the problem with people, and they got people thinking that they were with them, like Donald Trump. What the hell does he know about somebody in South Carolina struggling to make ends meet? Almost nothing. But people believe that. Because what I have to think about is we've got to have people know that we're actually listening to them, that we're actually hearing what they're saying. And then I'm just going to say this because it seems so simple, and I don't see it. We've got to show the guts that we're willing to. I feel like there's folks that aren't willing to say the things necessary because they might be worried they might not get reelected if they say that. I'm not going to say that, and I don't think any of us can. I'm getting called out on this because I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator. It's because he is. It's because he is. Oh. The governor's being mean, and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. Because we have to ferociously push back on this. And again, I'll speak to my teacher colleagues in here. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully, to watch this bully and to stop it. And when it's a child, you talk to them and you tell them why bullying's wrong. But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back. You push back. You make sure they know it's not there. Because at heart, this is a weak, cruel man that takes it out and punches down on people. What they don't want to do is stand toe-to-toe and punch back with someone who's calling them out for what they do, who's being there. And for Democrats, here's what we need to know. You need to embrace this. We win hearts and minds. We win the issues. If you go ask people if they want children to eat, they'll say yes. If you go ask people if they want smart things to make sure our children aren't shot in schools, they'll say yes. If they say, do you want us to pay our public servants a decent wage, they will say yes. We win the hearts and minds. They win power. And when they take power, they move with it and exercise it. So I'll tell you what, we have got to have and understand an unshakable responsibility that we have to make sure that come hell or high water, everyone in this country can afford a decent life, enjoy a secure and dignified retirement. Women can still get reproductive care, and no one, regardless of their status, goes without due process and the rights to rule of law. For those who tell us we get distracted with these issues, I've seen politicians, Democratic politicians, say, well, we can't get distracted with this issue of them scooping folks up and send them to El Salvador because we got to talk about the economy. Can we not do two things at once? Can we not stand on basic rule of law and human dignity and the foundations of this country and also say tariffs are stupid as hell and they're hurting us? They're hurting us. We can do that. We can educate our children and invest in good schools and also talk about they shouldn't be being shot dead with weapons in those schools. It shouldn't be there. We can do that. And I don't care if you're in South Carolina or New York City. You can't be supportive of kids being shot dead in schools. That's a unified position. So look, we've allowed ourselves, and I think it's fine because we are this. We're defined as anti-Trump. You damn right. You damn right. We are anti-Trump. But we also have to spend the time letting voters know what we stand for. And once we stand for those things, if you truly stand for them, then you actually have to get it done. You've got to build government with a bold vision that's actually delivering on those policies. Because I'm guessing in here, it would be pretty popular if you said, and if you put it to the ballot and ask South Carolinians, do you think we should have paid family medical leave in South Carolina? I think they would say yes. I think they would say yes. You know when they would really say yes? When someone in their family got cancer and they were able to care for them and get them through that, then they would say yes. When they don't have to choose between taking care of a sick child and losing their job or losing the pay that keeps the roof over their heads. Those are basic things. And when you do those things, guess what happens? The economy grows. And people find themselves more secure in life. And we have a better, more equal, more just country. And then the side effect of that is people no longer wonder what the Democratic Party stands for. The Democratic Party stands for taking care of my family. The Democratic Party stands for doing things that improve people's lives. And so now all of a sudden, and I'll say this too, you got a whole bunch of young people, and my son is one of them. By the way, I'm really proud of this. This feels like my greatest accomplishment. My son Gus is graduating on Tuesday, so that is my proudest moment. But Gus tells me a lot of young men, you might have seen this, a lot of young white men did not vote for this ticket. And they're wondering what we're doing with them. My son says, Dad, most of them don't know about the policies and stuff, and if they do, they probably agree with you. They just think the other side, it's cooler to belong to this. They just think it sounds tough to belong to this. Or they feel like you're at least going to them and talking to them instead of having people they don't know up there with you. And so this idea, and I've said this a lot of times, people want to belong to something. They want to be with other people. Most of us, sometimes other people bug us and we want to be alone. We know that. But I know this as a teacher. I was involved, coaching sports, but I was also involved with helping with the musicals, and I was also involved helping with the speech program, and also that. And I did those things that I liked them, but providing a place for a young person to feel like they're part of is really important. And I would argue that's true. In a society where we have become more divided, less personal, where people look down at their phones and text, and I'm not dogging on technology, but I'm saying I think it's made us more isolated. I think it's made people lonelier. I think that's especially true with a lot of men. They want to belong to something. Donald Trump knows that. It may not be a football team, but he provides them a uniform, that damn red cap. He provides them a common language that they talk about. He provides them something that they belong. Now, we know in healthy organizations, you don't need to demonize someone else, but since he's only offering anger and animosity and belittling others, he still offers something. We, as a Democratic Party, have to offer a place that is, yes, welcoming, but I can't imagine. People don't go to his rallies to listen to his dumb crap that he's saying. I don't believe that. I think they go to those rallies to be next to people who think like them. I think they go next to those rallies to feel like they're part of something. I bet you they go to those rallies to talk about their kids to one another and talk about what's going on in their lives. And in a society that seems more divisive, that political party or that movement that he has, I would argue a compassionate, kind place where everybody's involved is a place they should be too. But damn it, we should be able to have some fun and be joyful. We should be able to gather in these places. We should make them feel like they matter. So look, we've got the guts, and we need to have it, to push back on the bullies and the greed and punch them right where it needs to be done, to telling our policies are better, our policies improve your lives, and what you're doing is cruel and corrupt, and it cannot stand. We need to say that. We need to bust down systems, and again, this is my take on this. What Donald Trump has taught me is, I've been in this now elected office for 20 years, and there's issues that I have worked on for 20 years. And they're like, well, it takes a little time to get this done. People have been born and gotten old. And yes, I'm proud. In 2010, I voted for the ACA to improve health care to everyone. I voted for Obamacare. And I went in front of town halls and defended that vote. And I heard people tell me, you're going to lose your job over that vote. And I said, sounds pretty good to me. If people are going to get health care, I'll go back to teaching school and coaching football, because that's worth it. That's worth it. What Donald Trump figured out was it shouldn't take 20 years. So I'm just cautioning everybody. When we win, and we will, we're going to win the Virginia governor's race come this November. We're going to win New Jersey. We're going to take back the House of Representatives. But I'll tell you what, and the people in this room are probably the most impatient. When we get back and win that election in 28, we damn sure better not say, you know, I think we're going to tweak some of these things around health care to make it easier for you to talk to your insurance companies. Really, you think you better maybe deal with that? You think maybe we better be bold? You think maybe we better make real changes in people's lives? Because here's the deal. I think it's unconstitutional, and the courts will determine if it's illegal. But what Trump learned from his first term to this one is, if you say you're going to get things done and actually do it, even if it's not the right thing, people still give you credit for getting something done. They give you credit for doing it. Now, it's destructive as hell on their side. Think how powerful a tool that will be if we move with the same speed that he's moving to give everybody health care, to improve our education system, to address the climate crisis, to defend human rights, both here and abroad. Imagine how powerful that is. So look, here's the time. Here's the time for all of us. Donald Trump is the existential threat that we knew is coming. It is going to be, I'm not going to whistle past the graveyard, it is going to be a challenging few years here. But it starts this November, actually it starts this Saturday, as us starting to organize. Donald Trump ran for president for 4 years after he got beat in 2020. The Republican Party ran for 4 years. Their school board members ran for 4 years. All of those things were happening. And what I know about our party is we know how to work. We're people with grit and resilience. We know how to get things done. We're used to getting the shaft. We're used to being on the short end of things. It's who we are. But when we do that, and when we know what we have, this is a moment. This is a moment not just to win an election. This is a moment to transform back to the Democratic Party. When I was growing up, many of you, if you're my gray hairs in here, know this. My family wasn't overly political. They weren't overly political, and we were in a small town. But there was no question for me as a 17 or 18-year-old, if I got asked, what's the Democratic Party? Oh, that's the unions, and that's the folks that work for working people. That's who they are. Well, who are the Republicans? That's the country club and the rich people. That's who they are. And it was pretty clear. And then you started to figure out, this Social Security thing is a good idea. Who came up with that? Democrats. This GI Bill and Pell Grants to make college more affordable, who came up with that? Democrats. This idea that you should trust women to make their own health care decisions, who came up with that? Democrats. You knew that. This is our opportunity, and for the leadership that's in this room, let's define who we are. Let's define it with a fierce defense of those who can't defend themselves against a bully. Let's fiercely push back everywhere we can. And then let's decide. We're not retreating from that fight. We won't retreat from that fight, but we can simultaneously decide to let people know the issues we were told not to touch because they're too big and they're too bold. It was those big, bold things that solidified Democratic control for decades. It was those big, bold ideas that let us win elections. But that was the means to the end. It was those big, bold ideas that were enacted by the Democratic Party that improved the lives of millions of Americans. It was those big, bold ideas that gained our reputation around the world that the United States was the good guys who stood with people who were less fortunate. It was the United States who stood up to places like Russia, like North Korea, instead of voting with them. That's our opportunity. This is an opportunity to do the things that we need to do. Now, look, some of you are in there saying, oh my God, we've been through this, we ran elections. Look, losing an election is an opportunity to reflect. It is an opportunity to reflect, but it damn sure better be an opportunity to fight a little harder coming back the next time. That's all I would say. So, I'll cop to this. I am an eternal optimist, but I came about it legitimately. I supervised the lunchroom for almost 2 decades. You don't survive that gig if you're not an optimist. You do not survive it. But I know, and I think it's just perfect as I see this. Some of you heard me talk about this a lot. I think the most powerful word, my wife says this, most powerful word in the universe is hope, is the hope for it. And the motto of this great state, while I breathe, I hope. While I breathe, I hope. I'll take that one step further. Hope is the energy that gets us believing in a better tomorrow. But as my wife Gwen says, though, she says, but hope is not a damn plan. We can't hope that Donald Trump quits acting like he is. We can't hope that we win an election. We can't hope that these people aren't as cruel as we think they are. We can't hope that people get the health care that they so desperately need. We have to plan for it. And that's what brings you here today. You're giving of your time, your treasure, your talent to build what's necessary. And I'll tell you this, those things we accomplished in Minnesota wouldn't have happened without restructuring our entire Democratic Party, putting the power back in the county units, putting the power back in the state units. And it wouldn't have happened without some soul searching, because I'll end with this. I don't want you to believe, oh my God, everything is like heaven in Minnesota, No, because last weekend was the 5-year anniversary of the murder of George Floyd on a street in Minneapolis. We always like to think of ourselves that we're on the right side of that Civil War. But I want to be very clear with this. I had a woman a few years ago, and we were talking about racism, intolerance, structural barriers that were put in place to hold people back. And this woman was sitting with me in Duluth, Minnesota, about as far north as you can get up on Lake Superior. And she came from Arkansas, and she said, yeah, Arkansas is racist. She says, but in Minnesota, the racism's quieter, but it's meaner. And I think the acknowledgement of this, we know we've got work to do. That's why we're a group of people that believes it's important to teach our history, our true history, to every one of our children. And a great state and a great country can acknowledge where we've got it wrong. But once we start to do that, and in the 5 years since George Floyd, whether it was getting rid of some of the techniques in policing, or coming to the grips that our police can't be asked to solve all of our problems in the middle of a crisis, while we brag a lot that Minnesota has some of the highest graduation rates and achievements, it starts to a little different when you disaggregate that data and you start to see the gap between black and white students is as big as any place in the country. So we took those things on. We didn't admire the problem by calling it out. We tackled it. And just this couple weeks ago, we announced we had closed that graduation rate to the greatest amount that we had between black and white students in state history. Now, I tell you this, for all of you in here, I don't believe you get patted on the back for doing what you're supposed to do. So we as a Democratic Party, I know those will say, oh, you focus too much on this diversity and this equity and this inclusion. We focus on it because it's foundational to everything we do. We focus on it that closing that gap is not only morally the right thing to do, our future depends on us closing that gap. Our future depends on it. The leadership in this country, in Minnesota alone, 80% of our workforce will come from communities of color over the next 75 years. Even if you have no moral courage in your body at all, if you want to see us survive economically, you damn sure better start investing in black communities and making sure they're healthy and educated. So to all of you, the work's in front of us. It's not going to be easy. We're facing a pretty unprecedented time in our history, but what comes with that is the privilege. We get to be part of that fight. When the story is written of what happened during this time period, they will scarcely believe that this country chose Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. But they did. But the real story that will be written is, how did we respond after that election? How did we respond to the challenges? And it starts with an individual, and it gets bigger and bigger. So here we are in one of the reddest states, according to that stupid map that you'll find, with a room full of people who care about their neighbors, a room full of people who's willing to take the good, the bad, the ugly, the warts, and the highest achievements we've had as a country and recognize that this towards a more perfect union is still going on. We're not there. But each and every one of us get the chance to do something about it. So on behalf of my family and my children and my future grandchildren, let's hope, thank you all. Thank you for caring enough about this country. Thank you for taking time out of your lives. Thank you for showing this. And I will leave you with this, that in states that are either purple or blue, nothing inspires us more than to see progressive Democrats fighting in the reddest counties, in the places that are most red. Because that takes courage. That's where change happens, and that's where South Carolina will make a difference. Thank you all for having me. Keep up the fight. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, folks.
Yeah. All right, wasn't that great? All right, let's keep on rolling. I know that Governor Moore has, Governor Walz has a flight to catch, so he's probably going to be running out of here. But we want to thank him again. Y'all give him another round of applause. So now I want to recognize the co-chairs of the Convention's Rules and Credentials Committee, Greg Perry of Charleston County, Cedric Blaine Spain of Horry County, and Carol Fowler of Richland County.
Good morning, everybody. Madam Chair, delegates, on behalf of the Committee on Credentials and Rules, I report that there have been no challenges to the credentials of any delegates, and as of 10 a.m., 1,036 delegates have checked in. I move the adoption of the roll of delegates registered here today as the accredited delegates to this convention. The pending motion is the adoption of the report of the Credentials and Rules Committee adopting the roll of delegates registered here today as accredited delegates to this convention. Are there any amendments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the adoption of the Credentials Committee report, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report of the Credentials Committee is adopted.
Madam Chair and delegates, on behalf of the Committee of Credentials and Rules, I report that the committee has met and adopted proposed rules for the convention. These are printed and were emailed to delegates, and a special Zoom session was conducted. These are almost identical to the rules under which our convention have been conducted for many years. On behalf of the committee, I move to the adoption of the convention rules as printed. It has been moved and properly second. All those in favor of adopting the convention rules? Aye. She said she wanted discussion. What is your discussion, ma'am? Yeah, come to the mic, please. Yeah.
Which one? This
Are you, is this in reference to the party rules or the convention rules?
the convention rules.
Okay.
Is that that's what we're
Yes.
discussing? Okay. I don't recall learning of the process to discuss these, whether I signed in or even prior. So if you'll fill us in as to when we were supposed to respond to these, I'd like to know. Thank you.
Y'all want me to answer?
Yeah, you can go.
There was no need for delegates to respond to these rules. This vote on adopting the convention rules is the response. And the adoption has been moved. If you disagree with something in the convention rules, it's your time to discuss something specific in those rules.
Okay.
The committee adopted these. There was no need for a delegate to respond.
I understand this was a committee decision, and it's a report. And I do believe that there should be in the future, maybe add this, that if there are going to be changes, that the precincts and delegates are made aware prior to the convention so there can be discussion. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So those convention rules were emailed to you guys, and then we give you all an opportunity during the Zoom session this week to, those convention rules were emailed to you guys already, and we also gave you all an opportunity to kind of go over it during that Zoom session the other evening.
And for those who were not able to go to the Zoom session, what was your process for input there?
Yep, you could have submitted it in writing.
Thank you. I just hope everyone was aware of that. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Readiness is clear. The unreadiness is cleared. We're ready for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposes? Hearing none, in favor of the chair of the ayes have it. Madam Chair and delegates, committee also adopted some changes to the rules of the South Carolina Democratic Party as shown in the agenda. Those changes will be considered later in the convention so that we may proceed now to other business. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, y'all, let's go. We've done that. And right now I want to, we did the report. I want to recognize Kathryn Harvey, County Party Chair of Spartanburg. You're recognized.
Nominating a slate of convention officers, we nominate Representative Chandra Dillard of Greenville, whoop whoop, Representative Spencer Wetmore of Charleston as co-chairs of the 2025 convention, Helen McFadden of Williamsburg County as parliamentarian, and Joyce Rose Harris as secretary, and Kendra Dove as treasurer.
Kathryn Harvey has nominated Representative Chandra Dillard of Greenville and Representative Spencer Wetmore of Charleston as convention co-chairs, Helen McFadden as parliamentarian, Joyce Rose Harris as secretary, and Kendra Dove as treasurer. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, the pending question is the election of the proposed slate of officers of the convention. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Madam Co-Chairs, please come and take your gavel.
Thank you. Oh, hit the thing. She makes more noise than that in the General Assembly. So come on, let's do that again. We're in session, y'all. Hey. I'm Representative Chandra Dillard.
And I'm Representative Spencer Wetmore from Charleston.
And we are thrilled to be your co-chairs today, and we're going to jump right into this. We're getting excited about all of the candidates that we will have for next year's election. And we already have some wonderful, excellent candidates who are stepping up to run for next year. And so we're going to hear from some of those candidates throughout the convention. And we're going to start with our U.S. Senate candidates, and we'll continue to hear more and more candidates as we go along. So without further ado, I want to introduce Annie Andrews, candidate for U.S. Senate. And I want to remind our speakers that you have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Three convention minutes, not...
I got it.
Okay.
I am a rule follower. I will follow the rules. Hey everybody, it is so good to be here. I am Dr. Annie Andrews, and as of about 48 hours ago, I am a candidate for U.S. Senate. I'm excited to stand up here to share with you that I have the endorsement of my friend, Jamie Harrison. But I'm even more excited to tell you a little bit more about myself. So ever since I was a very young girl, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. When I was 4 and a half, I told my preschool teacher, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor and a mommy with 3 kids. And that is exactly what I am today. And I love being a doctor. It is truly the best job. And for over nearly 20 years in my career, I've worked as a pediatrician at children's hospitals, including 15 years at the Children's Hospital in Charleston, South Carolina. But when you go to work every day as a pediatrician in a children's hospital, you take care of kids who don't know where their next meal is coming from, kids whose parents can't afford their prescription drugs, children who are in the throes of a mental health crisis and cannot access mental health resources, and far too many children who have been shot. So I started to understand that broken policies coming out of Washington, D.C. were harming our kids and families long before they ever got to me at the hospital, because too many corrupt career politicians like Lindsey Graham are willing to do anything or say anything, even if it hurts kids, as long as it helps them hold on to power. So I got involved in a very dramatic way, and I ran for Congress against arguably our nation's most embarrassing congresswoman. And even though I lost, I never stopped fighting. Actually, I got louder. And just this past summer, I helped organize the Answer the Call that raised $11 million for the Harris-Walz campaign. One of the things I want you to learn about me is that I am not afraid of a fight. And that's why I've decided to run against Lindsey Graham so we can finally send him home. Because we know that Lindsey Graham is more than willing to take food off of kids' plates, to gut our nation's Medicaid program, the largest insurer of children in this state, stand by and watch prices spiral out of control just so he can deliver tax cuts to billionaires and keep his corporate donors and special interest groups happy. Look, Lindsey Graham has been in the Senate for half of my lifetime, literally, 22 years. And the thing about it is, over those 22 years, he has changed his position on nearly every issue. Because he does not stand for anything or believe anything unless it helps him hold power. Some might say, I would never say this, but some might say that he is completely and unequivocally full of... He has had decades to do his job to make South Carolina's lives better, and by every measurable outcome, he has failed. I believe in South Carolina. I believe in the kids and families that I have served here for over 15 years, and I am not afraid to stand up to those who are willing to sell them out. I'm starting with Lindsey Graham, and I won't stop in the U.S. Senate. So please, please, join me in this campaign. Go to DrAnnieAndrews.com. I am asking for your support. I am asking for your vote. So join me as we put courage over chaos, common sense over culture wars, and hope over hate. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. And a little public announcement. If you are standing on the walls in the back, if you're having conversations, we need you to take those on the other side of the blue, drape. Folks are complaining that they cannot hear these wonderful candidates. So please, ma'am, please, sir. You can talk, but not in here. Okay. All right. Carrying on. Our next candidate for U.S. Senate is none other than Kathryn Fleming Bruce. Come on down, Kathryn.
All right, happy people, how you doing? How you doing? I'm Kathryn Fleming Bruce. I'm an activist, a preservationist, a writer, and a candidate for U.S. Senate. I have been fighting public corruption, fighting for the poor, the marginalized, the low-wage workers for decades here in South Carolina, with partners like Occupy Wall Street, National Organization of Women, Black Voters Matter, Sierra Club, labor unions, and the Poor People's Campaign. I've also worked as a navigator for the Affordable Care Act. So I went around the state making sure that people who just called it Obamacare were able to have their lives transformed. I'm a resident of Richland County. All right, Richland County. But I grew up in Sumter. I'm the daughter of Lewis Fleming, an outspoken activist who trained me to look people eyeball to eyeball and speak truth to power. His seat on Sumter County Council was won through a lawsuit that went up to the Supreme Court. I am his legacy. I worked for a decade to preserve the home of Jessica Simpkins, a tireless, fearless champion for the marginalized who spoke the truth to black and white when they were going too slow. I am her legacy. In 2022, I ran in the U.S. Senate race against Tim Scott. In the June primary, despite being outspent 4 times over, I emerged the highest vote getter. And I was the third highest statewide vote getter in South Carolina. So I have all of you to thank for that. This time I'm running against Lindsey Graham, and you know it's kind of a twofer because Tim Scott is Lindsey Graham's co-chair. So I can't wait for the opportunity to challenge both of them on behalf of the single mother, the unhoused, the recently unemployed, and those trying to pay their mortgages. Lindsey Graham is also a twofer. He's a disaster at home, he's a disaster abroad. Here in South Carolina, he's the ace in Trump's pocket to pass a so-called big, beautiful bill that slashes Medicaid, that supports our kids, our disabled, our low-wage workers, and our seniors who need long-term care, as also the caregivers who care for them. Abroad, he's supporting the tariffs and sanctions that threaten our state's manufacturing industries, our jobs, and our relationships with our allies. So I ask you to do as Governor Walz just said. Think about the balance of power in Washington. We need at least 6 U.S. Senate seat flipped. And South Carolina has to be in the game. Okay? We can't leave this to the blue states. We have to do our share and pull our weight. In closing, I'm a defender of history. And so I want you to consider a few things that happened on this day in the past. In 1819, Walt Whitman was born. He wrote, "I hear America singing." The brick mason, the carpenter, the mother, each singing what belongs to him or her and nobody else. We must keep hearing those songs, those American songs. We must keep hearing those voices, those unique voices. In 1911, on this day, the Titanic first launched. What was meant to be a powerhouse ended in tragedy. We must not let America, driven by Trump and Graham, founder and fall. On this day in 2020, George Floyd was killed by Minneapolis police. With Trump and Graham in charge, police reform has been abandoned. DEI policies have been left behind by corporations. We can't let America fall and fail in its duty to right wrongs. We can't let America fail the tests of rule of law, habeas corpus, and our constitutional protections. Okay? So I'm Kathryn Fleming Bruce. Please find me at kathrynflemingbruce.com. Donate and volunteer. I'm asking you today to send a battle-tested veteran activist to the Washington, D.C. front in 2026. We're going to wage war. We're going to deliver victory. Over tyranny, deliver victory. Thank you.
All right, y'all. It is time for the election of our South Carolina Democratic Party chair. Under our rules, the party candidates were required to file their intent to run 30 days before the convention. One candidate, Crystal Spain, filed for chair. Is there a motion that we re-elect Crystal Spain by acclamation? Is there a second? All those in favor of electing Crystal Spain by acclamation, please say aye. All opposed, no? The ayes have it. And our chair is re-elected. Crystal, come on up and let us thank you for your service.
Oh, thank y'all so much. I have some remarks here somewhere, but they're going to get mad because I'm probably not going to use them. But thank y'all so very much from the bottom of my heart. Y'all made me very happy and sad at the same time when you elected me to this post 2 years ago. I started to take off running, but I stayed the course and did the job that I had asked to do. And we have worked really hard. I'm very proud of the work that we have done in the last 2 years to refocus our party and making sure that we're focused on winning elections. Although we were not successful last cycle, we were a part of a national bloodbath. We worked our behinds off to try to flip House seats that belong to us. We really tried to defend Senate seats. And the work that we did help protect some people. It would have been a lot worse than it was. But this cycle, we've really focused our efforts on fighting local. And I want to take a second and recognize some local triumphs that we've had. Shout out to the Dorchester Democratic Party and their new county councilman, Peter Smith. We flipped that district when people didn't think that we could do it. And just a couple of weeks ago in Aiken County, shout out to the Aiken County Democratic Party, we flipped a city council seat in North Augusta. There hasn't been a Democrat on that city council in 60 years. So that should tell you something, folks. We've got work to do, and I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to do that work, and as long as you're fighting with me, we are going to be successful. And not over my dead body, but I am going to lay it all on the line so that we can have some victories, because I'm so tired of losing. I know y'all are too. But thank y'all so much again, and thanks to all the staff for all of the hard work they've done. Putting on this convention and dinner is a monstrous task for a handful of people. So thank y'all for your grace and your patience, and thank y'all. When y'all see the staff, please tell them thank you. But thanks so much.
Okay, moving right along. I also want to let you know that the Yellow Dog Lounge is open. So do with that what you will. Okay. We are moving forward. Now we have a chair reelected. Let us turn our attention to our first vice chair. Only one candidate. Well, let me just say, under our rules, the first vice chair must be a different gender from the chair, and only one candidate, Representative Roger Kirby of Lake City, filed to run for first vice chair. Is there a motion that we elect Roger Kirby by acclamation? So moved. All right, it's been moved. Is there a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposes no. Hearing none, the ayes have it, and we have Roger Kirby as our first vice chair. Roger, come on up.
Wow, look at this room. Incredible. Guys, thank y'all. Thank you for placing your trust in me. I'm Roger Kirby, live in Lake City, serve House District 101. Just finished my 11th year in the State House. Yeah, that's Florence, Williamsburg, and Berkeley County. Yeah, but you know what? Guys, we need help at the State House. Our Senate and House members, we fight the fight. Every day we're in session. But we need you to help us fight that fight every day as well, because we have got to get some more Democrats elected into our state and local offices. It is absolutely our way forward. I was listening to Governor Walz when he was talking about all the great things that they had done up in Minnesota. A lot of those very same issues are the exact same issues that your elected Democrats fight for every day in the state of South Carolina, and we will continue to. But we have got to have more Democrats with their seats in the House and Senate to make real progress in that way. I would like to do one quick thing, if you don't mind. I would like for my fellow House and Senate members who are in our presence to please stand so that everyone can just say thank you. I want to just pledge to you one thing. My heart's in this to win it. My heart's in this to move our party forward in the state of South Carolina. I'm excited about the opportunity to be a partner, a team partner with our chair, Crystal. I'm telling you, she's a powerhouse. We see it. I'm excited to be part of that. I'm excited to be part of your leadership team, and I just appreciate this opportunity. God bless you. We're going to move this forward. Thank you.
All right, y'all, let's keep this party rolling. It's time for us to elect the second vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party. Under our rules, this person must be of a different race from the chair. Only one person, Myra Rivera Vasquez of Beaufort County, filed for this office. Is there a motion to elect Myra Rivera Vasquez by acclamation? Is there a second? Second. All in favor of electing Myra, say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. You have elected Myra Rivera Vasquez. Myra, come on up and let us welcome you.
Thank you. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for reelecting me for a second term as your second vice chair. Serving as a SCDP officer over the past 2 years has been among the most meaningful work of my life. I hope that my dedication to this role has been clear through my actions and commitment. From day one, I have done my best to ensure that every voice is heard and every voter matters. While we didn't reach every electoral goal in 2024, we made significant strides working tirelessly to uplift our volunteers, build alliances with grassroots groups, and strengthen our presence across the state. Together, we attended county meetings and events statewide to listen, learn, and engage. We hosted Latinos outreach workshops and gave county chairs and volunteers vital tools to connect with and empower the Hispanic community. We developed a Latino social media and voter mobilization toolkit to support county parties and candidates. We increased the Latino voter turnout from 30% in 2022 to 57% in 2024. But we have to keep working on that. Looking ahead, I'm energized and ready to keep pushing forward. I will continue to work closely with our party chair and the newly elected officers to promote transparency and accountability while bringing fresh ideas, diversity, and relentless energy to the table. We will create partnerships with other organizations that will increase our ability to reach more voters. We will focus on every community to build an even stronger and more diverse party. We will strive to be more inclusive and listen to every voice because every voter matters. This year has started with tremendous challenges. We face harmful policies, hateful rhetoric, and division that threaten the fabric of our communities. But through it all, we remain strong. We are still here. We are standing up, and we are fighting back. Keep organizing your communities. Register voters. Keep participating in rallies and protests. Keep calling and writing to our elected officials, holding them accountable. Run for office. Be the voice of those who right now cannot use the voices. We are the resistance. Nosotros somos la resistencia. Together, we can show the strength and determinations of Democrats to fight for the many and not for the money. I promise to keep fighting to ensure that every voice and every voter truly matters. Muchas gracias. God bless you all.
I am so excited about our leadership team moving forward. We're going to win, y'all. We are going to win. Y'all believe that? Okay. All right. Just want to know you're with me. You know, as you know, it costs tens of thousands of dollars to put on this convention. And we have a long-standing policy not to charge our delegates for coming to the convention. Unlike the Republican Party, they charge their delegates $35 to come to the Republican Party. But we recoup some of these costs with your help. And so we want to continue that tradition, continue that policy, and I am asking and urging you to be very generous with your contributions. And so at this time, I want to bring up our SCDP Executive Director, Jay Parman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want you all to see the person who counts all the money and keeps us compliant, our wonderful treasurer, Kendra Dove, who is also the Richland County Treasurer, an elected official. We're so proud of you.
Thank you, Dave.
And a couple things. I really appreciate, we tried something new. And we asked you to help us defray costs before you even got here. And we raised over $2,500 from people who contributed $10 or some amount before the convention. And we really appreciate it. The other thing is, I used a little leverage and we got free parking today. So it took me a little work, but we got it done. And so there's two things. I know we asked a lot. We raised a comfortable amount of money last night at the dinner. But let me just tell you, this convention cost us about $30,000, and I'm not kidding. The AV's not cheap. The chairs, believe it or not, cost $2 a piece. And I'm giving you the real skinny. It's $2. We got the air cranking. We're going to pay for every kilowatt we're using. Those pipe and drape, that's $15 per section. And I'm really not nitpicking, because we do this because we try our best to have a comfortable environment. We did new signs this year for the counties. The old signs had been 25 years since we refreshed those signs, because those signs cost $5,000 to have done. And y'all are like, great, Jay, guilt us. It's not about guilt. We really do appreciate all the yellow dogs, everyone who gives. So we're going to do two things. We're going to pass the hat. If you have cash, throw it in a few minutes. We'll put a QR code up here later so you can still give. But it really matters. Every dollar matters. And honestly, right now, I'm just trying to close our convention gap between the convention and the dinner. But I just want to really say, every dollar matters to the Democratic Party because we try to put it right back into making sure we're talking to voters. So thank you very much. And while we're going to start passing this hat, and Kendra, you want to say anything?
Hello, my fellow Democrats. As they would say in church, it's giving time. Give from your heart, give often, and give freely, so that we can do the work of the SCDP. Thank you for your gifts and for your donations. Thank you.
Y'all, we're going to ask you to get back to your seats. We are going to keep it rolling with a couple more candidates for U.S. Senate in about 30 seconds. So I'm going to ask you to come on back to your seats. We don't want to miss a minute of these candidates. I don't want to ask this poor guy to speak now. My only job is speed. Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to take a picture. All right, everybody say cheese. All right, folks. I trust that you all have given generously. I'm going to ask you to come on back to your seats so I can introduce the next candidates. The QR code is going to be up in a little bit, so it's not up yet, but just hold on to that thought, hold on to your Venmo. We'll get you a QR code up on the screen in just a few minutes, but first we want to introduce a couple more candidates. So I'm going to ask you all to come on back to your seats, and we will get started. All right. We are so fortunate to have a number of candidates who have stepped forward to run against Lindsey Graham. This is how we change South Carolina, and I am so excited to introduce Kyle Freeman, a candidate for U.S. Senate. Please help me welcome Kyle.
Hello, South Carolina. My name is Kyle Freeman, and I'm running for U.S. Senate against Lindsey Graham in 2026. I'm not a career politician. I'm a working man who knows what it's like to clock in every day and solve real problems. I've worked in logistics for the last 13 years, and I was an essential worker during the COVID pandemic. mother was a lieutenant commander of the Navy, my father was a master chief, and my grandfather was a 2-star admiral. So service and dedication to the country is in my blood. And as a working class American, I've seen firsthand how a broken system can hold people back and keep them from reaching their true potential. I believe in South Carolina, and I believe that we deserve good leadership that works as hard as they do, with honesty, grit, and integrity. And now I've been campaigning all across the state, and I still have a lot more to go. And typically, somebody in my position would tell you about somebody that they've met along the way. But I want to try to do something a little different. I want to tell you about somebody special named Zelda. Zelda is a retired teacher. She loved her job, and after decades of working a well-paid and respected job, she retired comfortably on a full pension. She doesn't worry about medical bills because her health care is comprehensive and free. Her grandson just bought a house while he's working part-time to go through college. She's living the American dream. Now, Zelda might seem lucky, but she's delightfully average. See, the truth is, Zelda hasn't been born yet. She is one of billions of future Americans that are counting on us to do the hard work that it takes to turn this country into what it needs to be. To get there, we have to fight for it. And I'm ready to fight. First, we're going to stop the legalized corruption that they've misnamed Citizens United. Then we'll raise the minimum wage and invest in public education. We stop the climate crisis by tackling corporate monopolies and investing in clean alternative energies. And we can show by example that leadership that leads through honesty, integrity, and hard work not only can, but does work for the people. Zelda and billions of Americans just like her are counting on the choices that we make today. We may not be there when Zelda sees her grandson graduate college, but she needs us, and I have no intention of letting her down, and I know that you don't either. And so I've seen what's over the mountaintop. I've seen what's waiting for us in the future. I've had a vision. And South Carolina, you look a lot better in blue. My name is Kyle Freeman. I hope to hear from you. Now let's go change the future.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Our next speaker is Lee Johnson, candidate for U.S. Senate. Please help me welcome Lee.
Hey, good morning, South Carolina. How are you doing? All right. See a lot of good friends out there and future friends. Really glad to be here. My name is Lee Johnson, and I'm a businessman and an engineer. I live in Greenville in the upstate with my wife, Shauna, and our 6-year-old daughter, Max. Yeah, that's right. And I'm running for the United Senate to retire Lindsey Graham. Y'all heard about that guy? Isn't he the worst? I mean, this guy, talk about everything wrong about politics. First of all, he wants to gut your Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And you know what he called these programs? Promises we can't keep. And it gets worse. Have y'all heard of the big, beautiful bill? Well, I call it the big, ugly bill. He said the sooner it's signed into law, the better. What does he mean by better? This bill guts Medicaid. Now, how does that make things better for the 1.1 million South Carolinians on Medicaid? It gives the ultra-rich a big tax cut. Now, how does that help working families make ends meet? This is Lindsey's legacy. He's left us behind, and we're paying the price for it. Does anybody know the last time he's held a town hall meeting? It's 2017, I think I heard that. It's been over 8 years. He stopped listening to us altogether. You know, he even said he doesn't need a town hall meeting because, quote, he knows what to do. Apparently he doesn't need us anymore, and we're going to show him the same respect. Now, I agree with Lindsay there. He does know what he's doing. He's doing whatever it takes to hold on to power at our expense. Not to mention, he's changed his mind on almost every issue. Term limits, abortion, Supreme Court, the list goes on and on. But you know what? I think we can do better. I'm running for the United States Senate to protect and to expand Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. I'm running to make health care more affordable and lower prescription drug costs. I'm running to build an economy that works for all South Carolinians by stopping these chaotic tariffs that are raising prices across the board for our families across the state. And something very close to my heart, I'm running to ban members of Congress from trading stocks because public service should not be for profit. In South Carolina, if you elect me, I promise to serve no more than 2 terms. And unlike Lindsay, who made the same promise 30 years ago, I will promise to keep that. Thank you. You know, people in DC, people online, they think that we can't do this. They've written us off. They've cast us aside. They think that this is a, quote, safe seat for the Republicans. But I don't believe them. Because what I'm seeing in this room right now tells me something else, something the pundits are missing altogether. And that is, people are ready for change. Folks, we can do this. We can and we will do this. And I'm humbly asking for your vote, and I promise that I will earn that vote. So don't believe the noise. We can do this thing. We can win. So let's prove these people wrong, and let's send new and innovative leadership to Washington and finally retire Lindsey Graham. All right.
Oh, the ballot gets better and better each day. Where's Myra? Come on, Myra. I want to call Myra Rivera Vasquez back up for a special introduction.
Thank you. All the Clyburn Fellows for 2024, could you please come to that side of the stage? Clyburn Fellows 2024. It's me again. No one has done more for South Carolina or for the Democratic Party than our dear Congressman Jim Clyburn. His leadership, vision, and unwavering commitment have shaped our state and strengthened our movement. From expanding access to education and health care, to elevating voices too often left out, Congressman Clyburn continues to be a guiding light for our party and our nation. We are deeply honored to have him with us today, not only to share a few remarks, but also to recognize the next generation of Democratic leaders as he presents official pins to the newest class of the Clyburn Fellows. I'm really proud to say I'm part of the second class of the Clyburn Fellows. And with respect with the other classes, we were the best class. And one of the reasons I'm here today is because I learned and they give me a space and I belong here to the Democratic Party. So I'm really proud to introduce our mentor and our friend, Congressman Jim Clyburn.
I am obviously not Congressman Jen Clyburn, but I am, before he speaks, going to ask everyone to please, let's bring the side conversations down before Congressman Clyburn speaks so that everyone can hear him. I'm looking at y'all over there by the drapes. We're asking you to please keep it down so everyone can hear. Thank you. And now, Congressman Clyburn.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me begin by congratulating Crystal and her leadership team for all the great work they've done over the past 2 years, and this new leadership team. Thank you. Now, I know we still got to round it out, but so far, they look real good to me. Thank you so much for volunteering your time and effort. I want to, is Spartanburg, the Spartanburg delegation, stand up. I've been having town halls all over the state. Thank you, Spartanburg, for a great town hall, kicking off our movement. Florence County, thank you. Lake City, the other night we had a great event there in Lake City. Beaufort, thank you, Beaufort. Great event. Spartanburg, North Beaufort, or in my district. And 3 days ago, we had a round table here with the South Carolina Hospital Association, looking at a few things I'm going to put up on the screen in a minute. And then, night before last, Charleston, a great event in all that storm in North Charleston. Thank you so much for all you're doing. And we are now planning to do events in other counties. I'm talking about Anderson, Pickens, Oconee. We are going to make it around the state. Then we're going over to Horry, Marion, places that we have not been for some time, because I do believe that change is in the air. And we are going to capture that change. Now, you know, I talk a lot about generating energy. But those of you who know the history of the atomic bomb, it's a very lethal weapon. But it comes from the ability that we developed to harness energy. That energy that the bomb is made from, we call it the atom. It has just been floating around since time immemorial. But when the energy was captured, harnessed, and turned into a bomb and targeted, it became lethal. There's a lot of energy throughout South Carolina. You and I are going to have to put forth the work to harness that energy. Harness it. And then we've got to sit down and figure out how to target that energy. And when targeted properly, it becomes a very lethal weapon. We are going to have to learn how to do that, and we plan to do that over the next several months so that we can yield a much different result in the next election. Now, as I said last night at the, I don't remember where I said it, but last night I called to your attention that we are going to have to start that change this year. We can't wait until next year. A lot of you got family and friends in Virginia. We got to flip that state in the governorship. We got 23 Democratic governors today. I'm counting Virginia for the 24th. We've got to win that. We're going to have a gubernatorial election in New Jersey. We got to hold that state. Those of you who got friends and families in Virginia and New Jersey, tell them to let you have their spare bedroom, roll out the couch, take a weekend vacation, go to New Jersey, go to Virginia, make phone calls. Let's win in those two states. If we win those elections in those two states this year, it will be the kind of harnessing of the energy. It can be the foundation upon which we can get some real wins next year in the off-year election. If we lose those two elections, I don't believe next year will be successful. We got to win this year. And if we win this year, I do believe it will launch us to some great historic victories next year. So thank you for what I know you're going to do to get on your relatives' nerves the rest of this year to help us winning these elections. Now, I want to thank those members of the fellowship class for what's this 2024. We've been holding this class now for how long, Jeremy? This is number?
This is 10 years.
This is the 10th year. For 10 years, they've been selecting young people in South Carolina. We try to get 40 to 50 every year. And for 1 year, they meet quarterly. They get assignments. They learn about South Carolina. They learn the great history of our state, the great history of this party, and they develop what it takes to be good political figures in our state. And for 10 years, that means we now have about 400 who have completed this effort. Now, most of them are young people. I meet with them periodically. Some of them ain't so young. But all of them are learning about our state. You know, Governor Walz said something today and it started me to thinking. And I looked up as he concluded his speech. And I want all of us to just think about what it takes to really be successful. Sometimes it takes us stepping outside of our comfort zones. I know it's good to only be around people that you know. It's very good to be around people who look like you, who may think like you, but that's not the way you learn. That's not how you get successful. We have to learn sometimes to step outside of our comfort zones. And I thought, as Governor Walz was talking, I looked up and saw these lights. And I remember when I was in school, over in Sumter, when I was at Liberty Street Elementary School, Savage Glover School, Lincoln High School, and when I went to Mather Academy in Kershaw County. The textbooks taught me that the greatest inventor in this country's history was Thomas Edison. That's what we learned. And I was proud to learn that. I went through my early life saying what a great guy Thomas Edison was, what a genius Thomas Edison was. But later in life, I learned that Thomas Edison did invent the light bulb, but he couldn't get the light bulb to work properly. He could get it to come on, but it would overheat and would not stay on. And one day somebody went to Thomas Edison and said, Mr. Edison, you're doing great work here in New Jersey. This light bulb you've got is a great invention. But I heard about a man up in Massachusetts, a man named Louis Latimer. Now, Mr. Latimer has come up with something called a filament. And Mr. Edison, if you go up to Massachusetts, I believe that that filament that Louis Latimer has invented might make your light bulb work. Thomas Edison stepped outside of his comfort zone. He went up to Massachusetts, collaborated with Louis Latimer, who happened to be a black guy whose parents had been enslaved. In spite of all of that, his genius allowed him to invent this filament. And Thomas Edison got Louis Latimer's filament and put it into his light bulb. And that's what makes this light bulb work to this day. That filament is still there. Edison and Latimer working together made this light bulb work, and they lit the world. We won World War II because we had great soldiers, great fighter pilots. But it was a DEI program. A DEI program that created something called the Tuskegee Airmen. And y'all saw the movie The Red Tails? I don't go to movies too much. I didn't see the movie, but I read all the books. And you all know that we got to a point where those fighter pilots did not want to fly unless they had those red tails escorting them through the sky. That is what caused us to win. That DEI program that created the Tuskegee Airmen made our war effort successful. I did see last Christmas the movie called 688. 688. That's a movie about a young African-American woman from Columbia, South Carolina. Charity Adams, who lived right here in Columbia, who became the first president of Delta Sigma Theta's chapter here in Columbia, when she was given the task of getting the mail to those World War II soldiers, given 6 months to do what people thought could not be done in years. Not only did she get it done, but she got it done in 3 months. And every one of the researchers of that effort says that Charity Adams' efforts, what they did to get the mail to those soldiers who could not get their mail, what they did changed the whole attitude of the fighting men and women in that war, and we won that war in large measure because of what Charity Adams and her folks did right here from Columbia, South Carolina. And today, they have changed Fort Lee. Fort Lee is now named Fort Gregg Adams. Now, I just told you who Adams was. How many of y'all know who Gregg was? I don't see any hands. Florence. Where are you, Florence? Well, the Gregg in Fort Gregg Adams is Arthur Gregg, the first African-American to ever become lieutenant general in this country, and he was from Florence, South Carolina. Fort Gregg Adams, one from Columbia, one from Florence, both African-American, but what they did helped us win World War II. This is not about black versus white. This is about black and white doing what is necessary to win the victories. I can march you down through history with much more. But I want to tell you what the real battle is here for us this year. Put up that thing, the slide on the automobile industry. Can you find it? I can't see what they got up there, but let me tell y'all what I think you see. Greenville, Spartanburg, BMW. There were 11,000 people working at BMW. There are another 47,000 people in the Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Pickens, and Oconee counties that are working in industries that supply BMW. Add 47,000 and 11,000, and I think you will come up with 58,000. 58,000 South Carolinians working at BMW. Charleston, every Sprinter van made by Mercedes-Benz made in North Charleston. Every one of them. I know some of y'all got Sprinter vans. I don't see Antoine C. Wright. I know he got one. At least he had one in his yard. How many people here from Berkeley? Volvo announced 2 weeks ago that they're getting ready to lay it off. They've already laid off 125 people. And I saw a headline, so they may be suspending operations there now. Why? Because of these Trump tariff policies. Taco Trump. Now, what did Trump's man say about these automobiles industries? Is it up there? Yeah. Not good for our economy. The policies, they're saying that those people, if you add the 58,000 and you add that to around 1,400 working down at Mercedes-Benz and around 1,100 or 1,200 working down at Volvo plant, these people are saying that what they're doing is not good for America's economy. That is what we're up against. And that's what we got to get people to understand, the value of their work. We make more automobile tires in South Carolina today than they make in Ohio. These people are looking to us as Democrats to change these attitudes that have begun to take hold in our great state. We've got some work to do. Put the thing up there on Medicaid. I've just got these slides that I've been running around the state at these, I learned, like you did, that one picture is worth 1,000 words. And so I have not been trying to explain to everybody. I've been putting these slides up and getting people to understand. Now I'm going to say something to you about Medicaid. This budget that the House of Representatives just passed, every single Democrat voted no. Every single one. 2 Republicans voted no. But they had enough left to pass the bill. And the first thing it will do is take 700, I'm going to give it round numbers here, $750 billion out of Medicaid. What will that do? I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but what I'm going to say here, I do not believe that there's a single person sitting on this floor that is not benefiting from Medicaid. Why? Because around half of South Carolina children are impacted by Medicaid. And let me tell you something. Half of South Carolina children are now living in poverty. But over half of South Carolina children benefit from Medicaid. Why? Because Medicaid is where disability insurance is. Medicaid is where nursing home care is. And if anybody tells you that Social Security is only for older people like me, well, let me tell you something. Social Security affects every single person sitting on this floor. if your parents and grandparents did not have Social Security, who would be taking care of them today but somebody sitting on this floor? And so when they tell you that Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security is for those other people, just think about your family. Think about your parents. Think about your siblings and what would happen if they did not have these programs that they're now trying to either eliminate or privatize. Now, it wouldn't be so bad if in the same bill they were not setting up a $1.2 trillion tax cut for the richest people in America. So you can take the money from the children, take it from the elderly, take it from the sick, from the disabled, and give it to Elon Musk and his running partners. That's what's happening. This will be the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of this country, taken from the poor and given to the rich. That's what this budget does. Don't let anybody fool you. It's not just about who the beneficiaries are. When you're talking to your neighbors who are giving you a hard time about this, here's what I want you to ask them. When we close nursing homes, who do we hurt? Not only do we hurt the beneficiaries, you hurt the people who benefit from the nursing home. The people who are in those nursing homes, they don't own those nursing homes. So the people who benefit from those nursing homes are the people who own the nursing homes. When you cut $300 billion out of food stamps, yes, you may hurt those beneficiaries, but those grocery stores, these people don't own the grocery stores where those food stamps are presented, and they get reimbursed by that big bank out there in Ohio that reimburse all these grocery stores for those food stamps that they deliver to them. So it's not just about whether or not people eat, it's about what happens in these communities when the grocery stores, you see the little signs on the doors, EBT, these little stores, that means electronic benefits transfer. That's what a food stamp is. This is what we're up against. And we just cannot sit silent and let people just say what they want to say and you be quiet about it. You fight back and let them know this ain't just about who gets the food stamps, it's about who benefits from the food stamps. And so I think that's enough. Come to the next town hall meeting, you'll go through the rest. So I am going to thank you all for being here. And let me recognize this class. Now, I'm not going to go through what I did last time, trying to pin everybody with their pens. We got the pens here. I'm going to put them in their hand and let them go sit down and pin it themselves.
Here, she's going to hand you the pens.
Okay.
You're handing the pens. All right. He wants you positioned right here. Okay. So as Congressman said, this is actually the 9th class. We're starting the 10th year now, which applications will be out after this next week for the 2025 class. But today, the 2024 class had 20 members. Some of them fluctuate. This last year we had 20 members, and I think we have 14 with us today for today's pinning. So as your name is called, please come forward for Congressman Clyburn to pin you, and then photos with Congressman Clyburn and Crystal. And actually, Jamie Harrison, why don't you come up and take a picture? The Clyburn Fellows were started when Jamie was chair. Tiffany Brown from Fairfield County. Sorbelia Cajamarca from Horry County. Oh, photo. Sheila Crawford from Pickens County. Savannah Flagg from Charleston County. Vita Jones, Darlington County. Reba Cruz, Pickens County. Stacy Mars from Greenville County. Malcolm Nolan from Florence County. Connie Portee, Orangeburg County. Councilman Joel Rogers from Marion County. Look, hey, look this way. I forget I have a live mic. Jonah Simmons, Greenville County. Antonio Tanner, Spartanburg. And each class, they elect presidents, and this class elected co-class presidents. Mackenzie Watson from Richland County, co-class president. The other president was Greg Green from Lexington, who's unable to be here today. Councilwoman Tamika Williams-Obeng from Georgetown. And now we'll do a group photo. Come on, everybody, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Yeah. Do I need to move this? You're small. You're short. There you go. Do you need me to move this?
People on this side too.
Yeah. I don't know, that's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2024 Clyburn Fellows class. let me close by one more thing. If you were in one of the first 8 classes of the Clyburn Fellows, will you please stand? All right, y'all.
Short person microphone. You know, they always say there's an introduction that needs no introduction. And you know we just do it to get everyone riled up, right? So guess who I get to introduce? You guessed right. A person who truly needs no introduction. Jamie Harrison, our DNC chair for the last 4 years, who's worked hard in every state across the country after working his tail off here in South Carolina. I'm honored to call him a friend and glad he's here with us. We know we're going to hear about what's happening next.
Thank you so much, Colleen. Thank you for your service as first vice chair for the South Carolina Democratic Party. And hello, South Carolina Democrats. Y'all, it is always so good to be back home. It is good to be back here with the people that I love so dearly. And of course, I got to give a shout out to my home county. Orangeburg County is in the house. I want to begin by giving it up for the woman who has taken this party to new heights. Our chairwoman, the one and only Crystal Spain. Crystal, congratulations on your reelection. Your leadership is bold, your passion is relentless, and your commitment to this state, to our people, is unmatched. We are so proud of Crystal. And to all of you gathered here, the precinct captains, the county party chairs, the grassroots warriors, the lifelong Democrats, and the brand new Democrats, thank you for being the heart and the soul of this movement. Y'all are the reason why we are still standing. You are the reason we will win. But make no mistake, my friends, the moment that we're in, it's not business as usual. But before I get to the present and to our future, I just want to acknowledge and give flowers to our Democratic leaders of the past, particularly the two people who served as our president and vice president these last 4 years, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Folks, it was my honor to serve under our president and our vice president, because I don't know two people who believe more in the American dream, who have believed more in each other, who believed in each and every one of us. Because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris saw us, they heard us, but most importantly, they fought for us. I want you to really think, because there are all kinds of books being written, some lies being told, but let me say a little bit of the truth. There has not been a president or administration that has accomplished more in the first 2 years of their administration than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. People talk about cognitive tests, but I think some of these reporters need to take a cognitive test because they have forgotten the successes that happened in this administration. The American Rescue Plan happened because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We got our kids back in school. We put money in people's pockets. We saved the pensions of many union members across this country. The bipartisan infrastructure law happened because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The largest investment in this nation's infrastructure since Dwight Eisenhower. The Inflation Reduction Act, bringing down the cost of insulin to $35 a month. That happened because of Joe Biden. Our seniors are not paying more than $2,000 a year in terms of their health care costs. That happened because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. There are many, probably some of you in this room, that don't have student loan debt right now because for the first time a president says, I got your back on that. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris appointed more black women to the courts of appeal than all presidents combined. The roads that you drove up, you know, all of this construction that is happening here. Y'all remember we had potholes bigger than me. Now Henry McMaster wants to take credit for it, but not a damn dollar of that came from Henry McMaster. That happened because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Jim Clyburn. So sometimes we have to help people remember the things that they seem to have forgotten. And I want to thank Kamala Harris for putting her whole soul into running in 2024. It breaks my heart that we weren't able to help her get to the White House, but I want to thank her for her service. And I hope you all will join me in sending up prayers for our President Joe Biden. We heard about his diagnosis for cancer, but we know that every challenge that Joe Biden has had in his life, he has stepped up to the plate to make it happen. So please, if you'll join me, just send a thoughtful thought or a prayer for his health. But my friends, as we close the book on the past, let's think about our president and our future. Make no mistake, this is not business as usual. Right now, the American dream is being held hostage by a party that has lost its damn mind. A party so obsessed with power that it has stopped pretending to care about people or the Constitution of these United States. A party that is willing to burn it all down, democracy, decency, and even the truth, just to cling on to control. I want to make it plain. The MAGA Republicans are attacking the American experiment. They are coming after our democracy with a wrecking ball. They are gutting Medicaid and Medicare. They are banning books and rewriting history. They are demonizing our judges, dismantling our courts, and corrupting our justice system just to protect one man and to punish everyone who stands in his way. They are sabotaging our public schools. They are undermining reproductive rights. They are stripping away voting protections and waging war on health care and education, the very pillars of our opportunity. And who are they targeting? Not the powerful, not the wealthy. No, they're coming for the poor. They're coming for the working class. They're coming for the single moms. They're coming for the sick, the immigrants, the LGBTQ community. They are coming for anyone who refused to stay silent. They're coming for the vulnerable because bullies always punch down. And leading the charge, of course, we know we got Donald Trump, a man who is less a former president and more a full-blown threat to the republic. You got Lindsey Graham, who has gone from country over party to Trump over truth. And you got Nancy Mace. Bless her heart. Y'all, I think Nancy's greatest accomplishment is playing bathroom police, because she is turning her service into political cowardice. She only believes in a performance art, and her only consistent position is whether or not it gets her on cable TV. But this isn't politics, my friends. This is cruelty. This is cowardice. This is fascism dressed up in a red hat. And history is screaming at us to wake up. Many of you have heard me say this poem before, but I think it's important to go back to history, to remember the words, to remember the speeches. And there was a speech or a poem by Martin Niemöller. The words are emblazoned on the side of the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. He wrote a poem that said, "First they came. First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, but I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, And I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. South Carolina Democrats, we cannot be silenced. If they come for us, they come for us all, not just a select few. We have to stand up. We have to speak out. And that's why I'm calling on every single one of you to stand up and to speak out, to act, to vote, to organize like your life depends on it, because for so many people, it actually does. We can't sit back and wait for somebody else to save us. The Avengers are not coming. We are the Avengers. We are the hope and the dreams that we've been waiting for. And in 2026, my friends, it's not just another election year. It's a turning point. It's an inflection point. It's our chance to flip the script and to take our state back from the brink. So here is my charge to every single Democratic County party in this room. Every single one of you. And I'm going to call every single one of these chairs to check on you and your progress. My charge to you, recruit a Democrat to run in every single race. Leave not one race uncontested. Because if we're going to have a blue Democratic wave, you got to have somebody to ride it. You got to recruit a candidate in every race. And don't sit back and say, well, I think that person's a good person. Look in the mirror, because you're a good person. You can run. Every single one of us, leave not one race empty, my friends. From the school board to the state house, from the courthouse to Congress, leave no ballot empty. Let's stop playing defense, and by God, let's go on the offense. Let's start fighting back for the things that we believe in. Let's organize, let's mobilize, let's energize. So when you leave this convention, I want you to do something. Register some new voters. Recruit some new candidates. Talk to your neighbors, your co-workers, your cousins, your classmates, your church members, and anybody who will listen. You got to educate them. You have to inspire them. And you got to tell them what is at stake. Because if we fail to act, disaster will come upon our state. Because I tell you what I want. I want to see in 2026 a Democratic governor in that mansion. In 2026, I want to see us break the supermajority in the State House. In 2026, I want to send Lindsey Graham's ass home. And y'all, I want to give Nancy Mace all the free time in the world so she can visit every bathroom up and down the 95 corridor. But I'm going to close with this. I'm not just here to talk a good game. Because I said we all have to put something in. We all have to contribute. I'm going to contribute today. Since stepping down as chair of this great party, I haven't taken a day off from this fight. Because the one thing I learned when Jimmy Carter passed away, it ain't about the title. It's about the work. Because Jimmy Carter will tell you he was a better former president than he was a president. And I'm sure as hell going to be a better former chair than I was chair. And today, I'm going to back up my words, not with just more words, but with some action. Today, I am honored to present to Crystal Spain a check for $50,000. That is going to be my down payment. My down payment. Come on over here, Crystal. That is my down payment on the future we believe in. It is my investment for hope. It is my commitment to this fight. And it's a clear message to MAGA Republicans here in South Carolina. Y'all better get ready because we're coming. We're coming. The people are waking up in this state, and we are coming to take our state back. While I breathe, and while we breathe, we vote. Thank Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you.
Well, y'all, it's hard to follow a $50,000 check. Let's just keep on. Anybody got some more money? Okay. Jamie, we thank you for your tireless efforts to move democratic values forward in this state and in this country. And we consider you a treasure. So thank you so very much. Well, you heard the assignment. We've got to start filling every seat. Every seat. And so let's turn our attention to some more candidates who are willing to offer themselves for office, starting with seats for the governor's office. Yes. Okay, so it is my pleasure to introduce one of my colleagues who's ready to step up to the plate. Representative Germaine Johnson, candidate for South Carolina governor.
Hello, Democrats! How many of y'all saw that viral video of me at the State House? Let's talk about it. 22 years ago, I was a high school senior. I was trying to, like many of you, discover who I was going to be, what I was going to do in my life. And since that time, I went to college. I met this fine young thing who's sitting down here in this red dress. Y'all give her a hand right there, this fine young thing down front. My beautiful wife. I got married. I started a family. I went to play professional basketball overseas. I played in the NBA D-League. I got my master's degree. I got my doctorate degree. I came home. I got involved. I helped an individual run for president of the United States. Then I ran for office against a 22-year incumbent, and I won. Since being elected, I've gotten reelected twice. 22 years is a significant number because 22 years is how long South Carolina has been under a single-party Republican rule. 22 years of single-party Republican rule. Now, we've seen a lot in those 22 years. The V.C. summer debacle, the Walter Scott shooting, the terroristic attack on Mother Emanuel, where Senator Clemente Pinckney was taken from us, stolen from us. Teacher retention is at an all-time low. Our roads still muddied with potholes. Individuals are still suffering. Minimum wage is still $7.25. But I got news for y'all. 22 years is long enough. 22 years is long enough. And in 2026, we are going to flip this state. And I'm tired of the mess that's going on in South Carolina. I'm tired of the dysfunction. I'm tired of the corruption. I'm tired of the backroom deals. I'm tired of the revolving door. I'm tired of our kids dying. I'm tired of you losing your prescription drugs. I'm tired of women's rights being trampled on. I'm tired of voting rights being stripped. I'm tired of the mess that we see every day in this state. And in 2026, we are going to stand up, we're going to stand to our feet, and we're going to say, no more. No more will we stand for this. No more will we take it lying down. No more will we accept status quo. No more will we deal with this mess. No more. No more. Because enough is enough. And we are ready to stand up. We are ready to take back our dignity. We are ready to take back our respect. We are ready to demand our respect and demand the equal treatment that we all deserve here today and right now. We have seen so many attacks on individuals just because they love differently, or just because they believe differently, or just because existing, just because they look differently. But we can't allow that no more. Because who we are the big tent. Everybody is welcome here. And that is how South Carolina should be operating. Everybody is welcome. Everybody has a place in this state. Everybody has a life that should be valued. Everybody is important. And we won't allow any of that to go unnoticed. We will do better. We will stand for better. And we will do what has to be done, because we're going to be outside. We're going to be knocking those doors. We're going to be wearing the soles out of our shoes. And we are going to knock those doors until our knuckles are bloody. We are going to do what needs to be done in 2026. So today, I stand before you on the shoulders of giants. People like Congressman Clyburn, who said, Germaine, you don't need permission from us old folks to run for office. And I thank him for giving me that advice. Because without that advice, I would not be standing here in front of you today. People who made history, people like I.S. Levy Johnson, who called me and said, Germaine, your legacy is my legacy. What you do is who I am. And I'm humbled today to announce my exploratory committee as I consider a run to be your next governor of South Carolina. We are going to do this. We can do this. And it's going to take all of us standing together, united, putting aside our differences, putting aside our little beefs that we have, our little petty beefs, putting that stuff aside and making sure that we are working together for the common good of all people, not some people, but all people. We will do this together. And I want to say thank you. God bless you. Let's stand together, and we will stand up and say, no more. Thank you. All right, there's more to come, y'all. We have another gubernatorial candidate. Is Justin Bennett here? Is Justin Bennett here? Going, gone. All right. Well, we've got another opportunity to fill a seat this year. Superintendent of Education. And our candidate, or one of the candidates who have signed up and declared so far, is Sylvia Wright. Ms. Wright?
So before I start speaking, my heart is racing because I'm so excited that Representative Johnson is running for governor. So many of you have kids. Many of you have grandkids. I have 2 kids, and I have a grandson. My grandson will be 3 in November. He can say full sentences. They might be simple sentences, but he can say full sentences. He can count to 10, and he can identify his colors. I want my grandson to go to a school that will elevate his level of learning. Every kid in South Carolina deserves to go to a school that will elevate their level of learning. But I've seen the inequity in our public schools. So I was the instructional coach in a rural school district. We were building a new middle school, and we wanted to see what the inside would look like before it was finished. So we drove an hour away to a school that was built like ours. We met in the STEM lab, that's science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And so we walk into this room, and the shelves were filled with materials to make projects. The room was filled with equipment to create these projects. And all I could think about was, we don't even have a room designated as STEM. Our kids were being left behind. I stand before you today, not just as a candidate, but as an experienced educator who knows the impact of a well-funded classroom and a caring teacher. I have also seen the damage caused when politics stands in the way of progress. We have the opportunity to change the trajectory of public education in this state. I am asking for your help. There are 3 ways you can help me. The first way, friend me on Facebook, Instagram, share my posts. Talk to friends and family, neighbors about my campaign. The second is donate. I need your financial investment. You can donate $100, $200, or whatever you're able to donate. You can be a monthly donor. But I need your support. And finally, spread the word. Many of you are in other organizations. Invite me to those organizations. That way more people have a chance to know who I am. Together, we can restore the promise of public education. I'm Sylvia Wright, and I want to be your next state superintendent of education. Thank you.
Okay, now that we've kicked off our fundraising with $50,000, we've got to have a treasurer's report, y'all. Help me welcome Kendra Dove, our treasurer for the party.
My fellow Democrats, I'm glad to report that we have in cash raised today $7,175. At this time, I'm going to ask again, because I think we can get to the 8,000, don't you? If Ms. Bernice G. Scott would come forward.
Hello, everybody. Now, I'm 80 years of age, and I believe in the Democratic Party, and all of you all believes also. I know we can raise $825 more. So please, y'all, deeper, a little deeper. We always want the Democratic Party to do something for us, and we don't give them money to do the things that they need to do. So I know it's kind of rough, but you know what? My vote and my dollar, what I give more than $1 now, but my dollar that I give, it's just as powerful as that orange man dollar. It's just as powerful as that orange man vote. We got to understand our vote do matter. But we can't do it, the Democratic Party can't do anything without money. So please, y'all, get the baskets back up, the little gray buckets. Please just keep giving a little bit more. We need $825. I know we can do it. Deeper, a little deeper. It's important for the Democratic Party. We cannot run anything. You can't even get a hamburger now for $1. I mean, you know, and we want the Democratic Party to move, we got to have money. So please, everybody, where the buckets are.
If we're going to put the QR code up as well. Yeah. The QR code is coming back, but if there is someone that has cash, we will be available to take it.
So please do. Where the buckets? Where the ladies? Wow. See that? Wow. Give him a hand, everybody. Look at that. That's $30. We only need 820. We need 820. Come on, everybody. Here you go. Say it. Come on, let's get it. Let's get it.
All right, Sydney.
Come on, let's get it. Come on, everybody. Let's put the dollars in the bucket and not the boots on the ground. Come on, everybody. Let's do it. We can do it.
Got the QR code up, too.
The QR code is up. Look at the code. It's already up. Come on, everybody. Let's dig. I know we can do it. I know we can do it. Kendrick, put some more money in there. You got it? I know he got it. Brenda, I know you're going on trip, but put some more money in there. Come on, everybody. Where's Kevin Washington? Get some money in that bucket, Kevin. Come on, we can do it. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. Come on, let's do it. Come on. Let's do it. This is about the Democratic Party. Put the boots on the ground and the money in the bucket. Come on, let's go. Hey. Come on, everybody. We can do it. We can do it. Come on, we can do it. We're going to show them that we can raise money also. Let's do it. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Let's do it. We only need $820. $820. $820 more dollars. Come on, everybody. Come on. If she said 10,000, let's do 10. Hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. Hey. Anybody got a fan? Let me hit it a few times. Where that fan at? Just because I'm old, I can move. Come on, everybody, get it. Oh, go ahead now. Let's get the fans up. Woo! Get the money in the bucket. Get the money in the bucket. Come on, everybody. Get the money. Get the money. Let's do it. All right. Woo!
I'm being told to come home. I'm being told I need to get started.
Okay. I know that we got to get this money in here.
I know. Thank you. All right. Well, y'all are getting out. She's calling y'all out by name. That's serious. But while we're getting that $825 raised, I'm going to make an announcement for the next election. So, if you are a nominator or making a motion for a second for our third vice chair election, as you know, the rules allow the nominator to speak for 2 minutes and the seconders to speak for 1 minute each. I would ask you, if you're going to speak from the floor, to find a microphone now. We've got some speeches, so we've got a minute, or to start making your way over here if you plan to speak from the stage. While those folks are making their way up here, I have the honor of introducing 2 more candidates for congressional offices here. My first one is John Gregory Vincent. He is a candidate for Congress in the 7th Congressional District. Help me welcome John.
There is zero chance I can do this behind a podium. Well, I know one thing. Next fundraiser, Miss Bernice is coming for me. I can't top that. My name is John Gregory Vincent. I am your candidate for South Carolina District 7. I am the guy who can beat Fry. I'm a retired Navy Command Master Chief, submarines, a small business owner, a father, a husband to an amazing lady, Deb, who's over there putting up with me. And I can win. When I enlisted in the United States Navy and reported to my first submarine, it took me about 5 minutes to realize I didn't want to be a commanding officer. I wanted to be a command master chief because nobody has a bigger impact on sailors, nobody, than the senior enlisted. And I said, that's where I'm going. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it quick. And a whole bunch of people said, I doubt it. And I thought, I can. 16 years later, I was a Command Master Chief. I've never met anybody who's done it faster. It started with, I can. For many, many years of my adult life, I struggled with alcohol. Many years. And I hit my proverbial rock bottom. And I looked and I thought and I prayed and I said, you know what, I think I can. And through the grace of God, I've been sober for 22 years. But it started with, I can. When I retired from the Navy, I'm kind of a human behavioral junkie. When I retired from the Navy, I said, you know what, I think I can be a consultant for the most prestigious human behavioral consulting firm in the world, the Gallup organization. And a whole bunch of people, guess what they said? Come on. They said, I doubt it. I became a Gallup global consultant. In fact, I became their top workplace consultant in North America. It started with, I can. I've noticed this in my 79 days of political life. Not in this room, but in this state, there's a whole heck of I can't. You know how tired I am of hearing in Congressional District 7, you know, this is cute, John. You're kind of fun. You know, you're not a politician guy, you're a nice guy, you got no shot. You think I'm running to finish second? I don't know how to finish second. I can win. But this isn't about John Vincent. This is about what was just said. How dare we say we're all in and 80% of the spots on the ballot go unfilled? Is that a good reflection on us or a bad reflection on us? Republicans can do whatever they want because they're running unopposed. They can say anything they want because they're running unopposed. Sorry, folks, but I'm not a politician. That's our fault. We can blame other people. Look in the mirror. Our fault. Let me give you, I won't give you numbers. I drive Deb crazy because I'm obsessed with numbers. I'll just give you round things. As was said, 23 years, 23 years. Governor's mansion, State House, State Senate, owned by Republicans. We have one of the highest murder rates in the nation. We have one of the highest child poverty rates in the nation. We have terrible public schools in this state. We have horrible rural health care in this state. In my district, 5 of my 8 counties, you notice I said my? Because I'm going to represent that district. I don't know how to lose. 5 of our 8 counties in America, in the wealthiest country in the world, have child poverty above 30%. Median income 35% below the national average. That's what Republicans have delivered. This is not a lost cause. This is ours to win. But in order to win, this is what has to happen. Everybody here needs to get 10 people on board. And then those 10 people need to get everybody on board. And then we have a blue wave. It is possible if we believe. So let me ask you a question, because I think they're cutting me off. Never give me a microphone. You got to turn it off to get me to leave stage. I think we can. Can we? I can't hear you. Stand up. Stand up if you think we can. Stand up. Can we? John Gregory Vincent, I will be your next representative, South Carolina District 7. God bless my 8 counties. God bless you.
Thank you. Good job. Well, I'm glad he didn't make me wrestle him down. That would not have been pretty. But we appreciate it, and we thank him for running. We're at that point now where it's time to elect a third vice chair. Yeah. Under our rules, this person must be no more than 36 years old. Two candidates, Ralph Prelo and Michael Layer, have filed for this election. Each candidate may have one nominator speech for 2 minutes and 2 seconders speak for 1 minute each. The candidates will be nominated and voted on in alphabetical order. And because of the many speakers, Spencer is going to she's going to put a clock on her phone. We decided we're going to really stick to this. So, in alphabetical order, are we ready? Okay. We've got Heather Bauer. She's a nominator for Michael Layer. Following her will be Kathryn Harvey as a second for Michael Layer.
Ma'am. Good afternoon, Democrats. I am State Representative Heather Bauer. I represent House District 75 here in Richland County. Happy to be with you all this afternoon. I'm here to nominate my friend and colleague, Michael Layer, for third vice chair. I met Michael in a very Heather Bauer fashion, knocking doors for one of my campaigns. I actually knocked his door, he answered, we had a long conversation, and we've been friends ever since. In 2022, when I decided to run for State House, he was the first to call me and offer his services because he believed in me, he believed on the issue, and we helped flip the only seat from red to blue in the state in 2022 because of his help. I will say supporting me has not always been the easiest thing to do, but we need people like Michael who will stand up and fight for candidates that he truly believes in. And what I love most about Michael, what he will bring to the party, is that he truly wants to listen to people. He loves meeting people where they are, talking to them at their front doors, in their communities, and learning about what matters most to them. And he will bring that same tenacity to the party. He is fearless. I'd say he brings the same fearlessness as I try to bring to the State House every single day when I walk through those chambers. And he's a learner. He always wants to learn and grow as a person and be a great leader. I can say, and then winning again in 2024, whether it's running a fundraiser table, out knocking doors, calling a donor, Michael has always stepped up to the plate, and he knows how to get the job done, and he knows how to win. And we know we need that more than ever right now. So I strongly support Michael Layer. I urge you to vote for him. He's what we need desperately in our party. And best of luck, Michael. And I am here to nominate Michael Layer for third vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party officially.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kathryn Harvey. I'm the chair of the Spartanburg County Democratic Party, and I was your Democratic nominee for Congress last year in District 4. Michael Layer is my Clyburn Fellow, and no one is working harder to get Democrats elected in this state. He has a plan to recruit, train, and empower the next generation of Democratic organizers, from young Dems to Dem chairs, to focus on our grassroots ground game, and we will not flip seats in this state without a strong grassroots effort, and Michael is ready to lead that. And like me, he believes that a regional focus among local parties will expand opportunities for more coordinated efforts, like the one we ran in the upstate last year when 21 Democrats ran up and down the ballot between Greenville and Spartanburg. We need Michael Layer as our third vice chair because nobody is working harder for this state. And when you elect Michael today, I don't want you to stop there. I want you to pour into your young Democrats on a local and state level. They are our future, We must elevate them like the leaders that they are. It is time to elect Michael today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Brandt. I am the current third vice chair of the State Democratic Party, and it is my honor to be here before you to nominate Michael Layer as our next, hopefully, third vice chair of the State Democratic Party. I met Michael at a candidate event 2 years ago, and I remember he came up to me just beaming with energy and enthusiasm, and I know that's the same kind of energy he will bring when he's in this position. He is an incredible organizer. He has traveled all over the state helping candidates, including myself, with their campaigns. He really does put boots on the ground, and he's got some great ideas to take our party to the next level. And with that, without further ado, I introduce to you Michael Layer.
Sorry, I am excited for y'all to welcome our candidates, but we are going to do all the nominating speeches first. And so I'd welcome Clay Middleton to the podium for the nomination of Ralph Prelo.
Hello, Democrats. I stand before you asking you to join me to vote for Ralph as our next third vice chair. I'm with Ralph because he has the unique understanding as a county party chair that this job is not meant to be glorious. This job is not meant to be glamorous. It is without pay, it is thankless, it takes tremendous focus, integrity, dedication, selfless service, and sacrifice. As third vice chair, Ralph is not seeking a position because of his resume. He is seeking to expand his opportunity to shoulder the non-sexy work that is needed for voter registration, voter education, voter mobilization, and voter engagement. Ralph listens more than he speaks, and he does not work to be seen. He does work behind the scenes. I've seen that long before he was a county party chair. As our third vice chair, Ralph will be a partner for this state party leadership team and with all 46 counties. This does not make him a yes person. This makes him the right person. The person that will ask the question, push the issue, and do the work. The one that will give his money, time, and talent to a party that sometimes get it wrong, but he persists to make it better. Ralph is trusted, respected, and as importantly, he is reliable. We can rely on him to raise the expectation of this position, to take your calls, to show up, to make an impact, and be a partner to help us connect with those that we need to reach out to, those that feel we are not connecting to them, those who feel we're not communicating with them. Ralph will be there to bridge that gap. I'm with Ralph, and again, I ask you to join me in voting for him, for a stronger state party, for a more complete, stronger state party leadership team, and a partner that we can trust, that we can work with, and that we can rely on. Thank you, and again, vote for Ralph.
Good afternoon, South Carolina Democrats. How are we doing? My name is Sean McCauley. I am the second vice chair from Berkeley County. Woo! So, real quick question. How many of y'all have ever heard the expression, or maybe you were told when you were younger, that kids are supposed to be seen but not heard? Well, that's why I'm here today, to lend my support to Ralph Prelo Jr. All right? I speak from experience as the second vice chair in Berkeley County when I say that Ralph has a record of identifying, engaging, and empowering young voters to get involved with the Democratic Party. I'm 33. Ralph is a year older than I am, and he's already in his third term as chair of the Berkeley County Democrats. Not only is he under the age of 36, not only is our third vice chair under the age of 36, but myself, the second vice, our county secretary, and our county finance director are all under 36 years old. Ralph embodies the expression that he doesn't want to just have young voters be seen, but he implores that they be heard and brought to the decision-making table. So prove to me today that you don't just see me, but that you hear me, and stand with me and vote for Ralph Prelo Jr. as our next third vice chair.
And finally, the chair recognizes Samuel Grant to second the nomination as well. 1 minute.
Hello, South Carolina Democrats. How are we doing today? My name is Samuel Grant. I am the President Emeritus of College Democrats of South Carolina and a former Vice President of Young Democrats of South Carolina. And it is an honor and privilege to second the nomination of Ralph Prelo for third Vice Chair. I've known Ralph for the past 4 years, and I've seen his tireless dedication to uplifting the voices of young people in our party, from his work in Young Democrats to his work in his home county of Berkeley and in every capacity he serves in. And that's why it was no surprise that he was the first candidate in this race to reach out to the college Democrats, explain his vision for a party that advocates on behalf of, trains, and organizes young people to engage in and take an active role in this party. And his vision of young people having a seat at the table and his proven track record of experience is why I am supporting Ralph Prelo for third vice chair, and why you should as well. Thank you.
Okay, we're ready to hear from our candidates. According to our rules, they have 3 minutes each. We have the time clock. We'll hear from Michael Layer first, and followed by Ralph Prelo. And we have found some keys. If they're lost, we've got them up here, okay? It's a Honda.
How are we doing, South Carolina? My name is Michael Layer, and I'm running to be the next third vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party. All right, y'all. I am just 30 years old, and I'm stepping up to the plate because I want to see more young people in this room. As a matter of fact, everyone here who's under the age of 40, let me see your hands. Raise your hands. Come on, come on. Do you remember 2 years ago? We didn't have this many people in the room, and that is because of our awesome, outgoing third vice chair, Michelle Brandt. Let's give it up for her. By this time next year, I want to triple the number. I want to triple the number of young people in this room because I am dedicated to building the youth of this party. I am currently serving on our membership committee that's responsible for growing our party and getting more young people involved at the local level. But let me tell you what, the membership committee of our Young Democrats has been crushing it. Not only have we done more to bring more young people into the doors, but last weekend we helped send 14 young people onto the doors in support of our 24-year-old Democratic nominee, Keyshawn Scott, to keep that District 50 seat blue. The third vice chair position isn't just a title. It is the youth leader of this party. As third vice chair, I'll focus on strengthening our grassroots infrastructure, mentoring the next generation of Democratic organizers, and making sure every corner of this state feels seen, heard, and empowered. I know what our state map looks like. I know how tall the odds are and how daunting they are. But let me say this, I'm running to be the next third vice chair because I know I am ready to do this work with you. I believe we can do this. I believe in our future. I believe we can build a better Democratic Party brick by brick together. So if you are ready for something new in South Carolina, then I need to hear you. Let me hear you. Come on, South Carolina. Stand up right now and vote for me, Michael Layer, for 3rd Vice Chair. Thank you so much, South Carolina. Let's go in the future.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Now, we're fired up. I heard it out there, right? Okay, let's move to our next candidate, Ralph Prelo. Come on down, Ralph.
Good afternoon, South Carolina. How y'all doing out there? My name is Ralph Prelo, and I want to talk with you just a little bit why I am running for the 3rd Vice Chair. The 3rd Vice Chair role primary objective is to make sure to energize and galvanize and bring young voters into our county parties to strengthen our infrastructure and make sure that we can go out and help candidates win elections. As the Berkeley County Chair, I saw this importance. I made sure that every one of my exec members was under the age of 36. My 2nd vice, my 3rd vice, my county finance, my county secretary are all under the age of 36. That means I am bringing people in and putting them and making them in executive leadership positions. I want to let you know what type of 3rd Vice Chair are you planning to elect today. You are electing a 3rd Vice Chair that will go out and make sure that across this state we have 3rd Vice Chairs working and actively bringing in young voters across the state into our county parties. If you elect me today, the 3rd Vice Chair that you are getting will bring in community organizations, student organizations, colleges, high schools, because the Republicans are indoctrinating themselves into our education system, and we must say no today. If you elect me as the 3rd Vice Chair, I will make sure that our candidates realize that our young people have a vision, our young people have a platform, and that we need to make sure that we are maximizing voter turnout across this stage, across this nation, because that is the way we're going to get people in office like Germaine Johnson. That's the way we're going to keep people in office like Heather Bauer. We got to make sure that we are bringing everybody in and making sure that we're expanding our reach. Sorry, caught myself. So, what type of person are you electing? I understand that in leadership, you must realize that while we all want to win right now, we have to do the work. And in order to do the work, you have to have a leader that knows that this race was never given to the swift nor the strong, but for those who held out to the perfect end. And that perfect end is going across the state and telling everybody that love outweighs hate, unity outweighs division, equality outweighs supremacy. But I know today, if you elect me as the next 3rd Vice Chair, I will be in Oconee, I will be in Newberry, I will be in Hampton, because I've done it all over this state, and I've done it in Berkeley County. I'm asking you to vote for me. And as I said when I started in Beaufort and all the way up to Greenville, I said in a few moments, I need you to just remember me. Because if you remember me, you will never regret voting for me. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to go through the rules real quick, and then I'm going to ask for your help with making sure we've got these aisles clear. All right. Our rules require a majority of the delegates voting in order to elect someone. You will vote at the appropriate time by standing at your seat. So if you are not a delegate, I would ask that you please move out of the delegate area and please make sure that we clear the aisles. Only delegates standing at their seats will be able to vote. So please take a minute, get back to your section. We're going to clear the aisles. We'll start voting in the center section so everyone can see how it works. There are representatives of the campaigns standing in the aisles on both sides of the section, along with our official counters. When you stand for your candidate, a counter will let you know when to begin counting off. We will start on the back row with number 1. When you call your number, sit down. When we reach the first row, we will announce the number for the candidate in that section.
We're going to just start with the first row this time.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to start with the first row. So, in the front center section, all those who favor the election of Michael Layer stand.
Okay, this section right here, from front to back, if you are from Michael Layer, please stand right now. And we're going to count, and we're going to demonstrate this for the other, just this section.
Just.
Okay. If you are from, in this section, if you are from Michael Layer, please stand. Now, we are going to count off, and we're going to move this quickly. So we're going to start here, and you're going to say your number. Your number 2, 3, 4, and then be seated when you count your number. 5, 6, 7, 8. You're 8. 8, 9, 10, 15, 19, 29, 30,
30.
Sally, you're 32.
30.
Okay. Be seated. 36.
37.
Three. 65. 69.
70.
Right here.
76.
78. 79.
79.
Now, do I do the center? Okay.
91.
95 votes for Michael Layer in this section.
That's 95 votes for Michael Layer in this section.
Yes. So.
Okay. In the center. Oh.
Yeah.
We're going to stay with the center section for the other.
Well, now that we're ready, can we start on this side?
Thought you were going to count the Freelo votes in this section next.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Okay, yes. Let's do Prelo in this section.
Okay, that's fine.
So now all those in the center section in favor of Ralph Prelo, please stand.
Okay, now, okay, y'all, you heard and watched the other group. Let's see if you can go just as fast. 2,
3, 4, 5, 6,
7,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20. 31, 32.
62.
103. 7, 8, 110, 111,
112.
$139, $45, $46, $147.
So that's, hold on. That's 147 votes in the center section.
Yes.
For Prelo.
For Prelo, 147.
All right. We're going to move to the
Let's do that.
my right, your left. So we're going to move to this far section here. We are all in the far section here who favor the election of Michael Layer. Please stand at this time.
Okay, we're ready to count. 1, 2.
Are you calling that right or left? Perfect.
15, 16. $26. Okay. 28. Be seated. $45. You're 53. Okay, 54. 1, 62. 63. I got you. We got you. 64.
That's 64.
64.
64 votes for Layer in this section. Now all those...
one more person voted, 65.
Excuse me, that is 65 delegates for Layer in this section.
Yes.
Now in this section, all those for Ralph Prelo, please stand.
Paula, you get to...
Half a tally.
Peggy, you're 35?
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
41. Miss Wright, you're 54. $60. $91. 109. Enter. $148.
That's 148 votes for Prelo in the far section.
Yes.
We're going to move now to the middle, this additional middle section, my left, middle section.
Yes.
I'll give the counters a minute to get over there.
You know, this is my favorite thing to do. This beats the heck out of 2 years ago. We did, what, 10 rounds?
All right.
We only get to do this once today.
So in this center section, all those voting for Michael Layer, please stand.
Richland County in the house. Okay. 3. 4.
5, 6, 7, 8.
13. Okay, 52, right? I'm scanning. Here we 53. 56. 57. I'm coming. I'm going to come back here. Huh? You didn't vote for the first one? Okay, that's fine. 54.
So that'll be the fifth section.
They're a different section. Well, if you didn't, if this section, wait, this is the first vote.
Correct. This is the first one.
Yes, this is the first candidate.
Hold on. This is the first vote. If you wish to vote for Michael Layer in this section, stand up. No, they're delegates. These are delegates. This is Orangeburg, Dorchester. This is delegates right here. Shh. 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 If you are voting for Michael Layer in this section, stand up right in front of me. Orangeburg, Sumter, Darlington, Dorchester, and Lancaster. All right. Gretchen, your number is 55. And then be seated. $60. $80.
80 votes in this center section for Michael Layer. Now, all those in this center section, including the rear section, for Ralph Prelo, please stand at this time.
Yep. Okay. We're ready. 1, 3,
6, 9, 10, 11.
Let's see kind of what they seem to say. He will want to come up and say first.
51.
The lawyer will want to come up and say the best man won money helping the people.
Chandra, thanks for this.
True. It's a lot worse for them.
94.
I asked him if it was so overwhelming.
It's tricky with Michael being from Richmond.
113.
50, 160, 120, 121. They see the same thing you're saying. And then they don't feel it.
$161.
164, 165, 166, 168.
I'm 180. $190. $205. 6. 207. 211. 211. 214. 214.
That's 200. Hold your applause, hold your applause. That's 214 votes for Prelo in the center left section.
Now
we're going to move to this far section. This will be the far right for you in the audience. At this time, if you are voting for Michael Layer, please stand.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
13. Okay. No, 16. Thank you. $31, $32, $33, $40, 4-0.
That's 40 votes for Michael Layer in this far section. All those in this section for Mr. Ralph Prelo, please stand at this time.
One,
2,
3,
4, 5, 6,
7,
8,
9.
That's all right, we still won.
15, 17, 19, 21, 31, 35, Bonnie, 39. You're 39. 45, 46, 57. 62 will be her number.
Nobody's going to care. Fine.
70.
71.
Yeah, for preload. 72. 4. Shh. $102. 112.
That is 112 for Prelo in the far section.
They're going to add them up there.
All right, what is your official title? Is parliamentarian?
Yeah, but you're the presiding. You make
All right. We have officially added up the numbers, and I am delighted to welcome Ralph Prelo to the stage as your next third vice chair.
All right, we go. First and foremost, we say thank you. It's amazing how when you start on this thing, you talk so much, and then now when it's over, you ain't got nothing to say. But to just keep it quick, first and foremost, I thank each and every one of you, because even running a campaign, nobody can talk better for you than the people that know you. And I am appreciative to the people that went out across the state, called others that I did not know. And I think it made all the difference. I think first and foremost, my county, Berkeley County, they supported me, volunteered, phone calls or whatever have you. My mom and dad is here. I thank y'all. last but not least, before I get to the last but not least, Michael, like I told you before, we got to make sure that everybody's in the house. And Michael, you got to be here in the house. So I look forward to working with you in the future. And then lastly, to my wife and my 3 babies, I worked them real hard. Y'all saw them all over. So, and like I tell my wife all the time, y'all got another 2 years to talk about politics all day. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for the support. And like I said before, and I will say it again to end it, I ask y'all to remember me, and y'all, frankly, y'all did remember me, and now I got to make sure that y'all don't regret voting for me. Thank you.
Harper, you ready? All right. Brief announcement. We have a set of keys in the women's bathroom. These appear to be a Nissan. I am delighted to introduce Alex Harper, a candidate for Congress in the 5th Congressional District. Please help me welcome Alex.
Wow, what a wonderful day this has been. Thank you all so much for staying till the end. I promise you I will stick to my 2-minute time frame. My name's Alex Harper, and I'm running for Congress against Ralph Norman. Thank you. Thank you. I'm running because I feel called to service. As a prosecutor in York County, prosecuting sexual assaults and crimes against children, I have gained the skills and the voice that I feel are necessary to speak for those who need me to speak for them. I'm running because if I don't do everything that I can, if I don't do everything within my power to change things, then I'm complicit in what comes next. And maybe most importantly, I'm running for my daughter, because she deserves a father that fights for her just as much as you deserve a representative that fights for you. Thank you. In Kamala Harris's campaign for president, she told us that we are not going back. But what did Republicans do the moment that they got power back? They immediately started taking us back. They immediately brought us back to a time when we were worse off, when we need our leaders to propel us forward. When Republicans got control, they started to defund the Department of Education at a time whenever our children are falling further and further behind their peers. And it's made even worse because in South Carolina, we lead the nation in how many books we've banned. When Republicans got control of Congress and at a time when we are paying more and more for our health care, at a time when our results from that health care are getting worse and worse, they decide to cut Medicaid and take health care away from those that need it most. I'm running because I believe that if I don't run, if I don't do everything in my power to change things, then we will go back. But we don't have to. We can choose to reach for a better future. We can choose to dream for a better future for our children. We can choose not to have a Department of Education that has been cut, but instead to give our children, no matter their zip code, a quality education. We don't have to cut medical care for those that need it most. We can instead expand Medicare, expand care to those that need it most, and make sure that everyone is taken care of. But we've said all this before. The question is, where do we go next? Because right now, we have the opportunity to dream of a better future and to know that it is possible. We have the opportunity to educate our children better than they've ever been educated before. But what we have to do is we have to make sure that we teach them to be scientists again, teach them to be adventurers again, teach them to be explorers and inventors, and that the stars are within their reach if they just reach for them. We can expand medical care to people who need it, but we must invest in new life-saving technologies, new medications that give people new life, but more than that, we have to make it absolutely free to those that need it. I'm running for Congress because I believe in that dream. I'm running for Congress because we all believe in that dream, and it's going to take all of us to get there. There's a saying that the price that good people pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. But I've seen today that we are not indifferent today. We will not be indifferent for the next 500 days until the midterms, and we certainly will not be indifferent on Election Day. And to the Republicans that will be on the ballot, the Republicans that we are running against, expect us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Just a little bit more to go, y'all. You know, we've been concentrating on next year's ballot. We've heard from congressional candidates, we've heard from mayoral candidates, but we can't forget this year. We must have boots on the ground this year for our city council elections. Yes. And as someone who started my service on Greenville City Council, one of the very few partisan councils left, I concentrate on city council elections. And so if you've ever been to Greenville and you like what you see in Greenville, you need to know that over 20 years ago, it took us 20 years to get back a Democratic majority on Greenville City Council. And I'm saying this because that's the kind of work ethic we need all around. We are already flipping seats in these county council races. We've had some special races. So I want to applaud the candidates who are running out there. If you are a city council candidate or considering running, just please stand and let us applaud you. Do we have any? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But there is one, we have an at-large seat in the city of Greenville. We still have a handful of municipalities that are still partisan, and Greenville is one of them. And so we have a candidate who's here today, Tina Belgie. She just wants to take 2 minutes to introduce herself. It's very important that we hang on to this seat.